Welcome to this BVTV SpotCast, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is number 2 in a trilogy of SpotCasts with my today's guest. When you visit the website of my guest today, you cannot help but see and feel that he exudes experience, skill, and passion around the vital subject of leadership. This is number 2 in a trilogy of BVT SpotCasts. He's kindly agreed to record with me. So let's go to Palm Springs and from Caliente Leadership, meet Steven Howard. Hello, Steven.
Hey, Malcolm. Good to see you again.
We haven't traveled very far, have we? But, but Steven, let's get started on episode 2. This is on your trilogy on leadership with a core improvement checklist. I'm asking you, what 3 things do you think leaders need to focus on improving their skills on in order to both recover and accelerate post-pandemic? Where do you think weaknesses lie?
Oh, great question, Malcolm. I think the first weakness is that leaders have to develop a mindset that enables them to confront uncertainty and ambiguity. And we shouldn't consider these as obstacles. They're going to be a permanent component of our post-pandemic era, and it's not going to feel comfortable. Look, psychologically, uncertainty it's a human desire to have control, to have certainty, to know where we're going, and we can't. And so I think number 1 is that ability to manage. And matter of fact, what I would say, leading through uncertainty is going to be a key skill going forward. And I think employers are going to be looking for that in people. Number 2, I'd say, would be empathy. Everyone's gone through universally this pandemic. People have different situations. Some people have spouses working at home, maybe both spouses working from home, kids being schooled from home, changes constantly. Are the kids going to stay in school? Are we going to go into another lockdown? Again, that's the uncertainty, that's ambiguity, but having empathy for our team members and our people. And matter of fact, the third thing is, I think we need to start treating our employees as human beings. They're not assets. They're not resources. They're not team members. They're not workers. They're not employees. They are human beings. And the more we start dealing with each other with some passion, some kindness, some understanding as human beings, then people are going to want to follow us. If not, as we're seeing in the great resignation of 2021, people leaving their companies, moving on elsewhere.
Yeah, I love that idea that it's a necessity of talking about treating people like with human beings, because I don't think older leaders have got that ability. You know, they've sat in their corner office firing off memos like crazy, and actually many people not knowing the names of the people that work for them. How will those new today's leaders suddenly become human? Because, you can't throw some pixie dust or Disney dust over them or say, click your fingers and tomorrow that they're the most wonderful, empathetic person around.
You know what? I think all of us baby boomers need to go back and watch Star Wars and listen to Yoda. And Yoda says, you must unlearn what you have learned. And the old way of doing things is just that. I mean, and this is what I'm coaching people on now and it's a skill gap. These things like emotional intelligence and empathy and resiliency and tenacity, these are actually skills that you can learn. Now, people didn't think that. People thought you're either born with resiliency or you're not. Well, no, you can learn. There are some behaviors, some things you can learn to be resilient, that you can learn to be empathetic. Just for instance, a tip for your viewers and listeners, when I coach people now, I say the first thing you should ask somebody when you're on a Zoom call who reports to you is, how's the family doing?
Yeah.
And don't let them say fine. Don't let them get away with saying fine. Okay. No, seriously. How's the family doing? How's your internet? How's everyone coping with schooling from home or, working together, whatever. Second question is, how are you doing? And again, don't let them say, I'm okay. No, dive into it. Make sure. Read their body language, listen to their tone of voice. Third question is, now let's talk about business. What's going on in the business? Where are you on this project? And that's empathy. That's showing concern because, they're working from home or part of the family's working from home, and understanding to be empathetic about their situation it's a skill. And that's a technique I teach people.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach, Stephen. One of the things, alarms that I've sort of get around because of our constant input of news coming there is that so many companies are talking about we're going to pay our employees less if they work from home,
Wow.
which I think is a lack of understanding of it all, isn't it?
It is, and that's why people are resigning their jobs because that company doesn't understand people. Malcolm, we used to always say people don't leave organizations; they leave bosses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's now changed. People are leaving organizations for two reasons: because of their policies regarding returning to work, and because they did not get developed. They did not get grown personally over the last 18 months as companies cut their training budgets and their development budgets. And so if I haven't grown for 18 months, particularly our millennials or generation, people who really do, that's part of their character. They want to grow. And if your policy says, I have to do this, well, no, flexibility in today's world is going to be critical. That's one of the things coming out of the pandemic is you have to be flexible. You have to allow people some flexibility in how and where they work. And if not, they're going to leave.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling as well that, Stephen, by adopting the approach that you've just been talking about there, that you will get greater innovation and creativity and agility from your people.
You, without a doubt, and you'll get greater engagement. There's a lot of research that shows when you treat people more as humans, less policy driven. A great quote I have that I share with people, it comes from Vice Admiral Grace Murray Hopper from the U.S. Navy. She says, "You manage things, you lead people." For those who've gone through their careers managing people, they're going to be dinosaurs. You lead people. You manage policy, processes, procedures, projects, things. You don't manage. Nobody wants to go to the workplace and be managed. So that's what's going to come out of it. And then go back to your original question here. Are you telling me that my value to your organization is based on where I live? No, that's crazy. So, I mean, even as a consultant, if an organization called me up and said, "Hey, we'd like you to be our coach for our leaders, but because you live in Southern California, you're going to get paid this. If you lived in New York City, we'd pay you more." Excuse me. My value is not where I'm sitting. My value is my 40 years experience, my knowledge, the books I've written. That's what you're paying for. You're not paying for where I decide to live or work from.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Get paid for your brain, not for your time. Thanks, exactly. Stephen. Now let's remind our audience of your URL, your website address, which is, and viewers, you can see it on the screen behind me there, but for listeners, let me point it out. All the W's, www.Caliente Leadership, which is CALIENTE, leadership.com. Go there and get details of all where Stephen can help you on leadership, including his virtual coaching and details of his book, 8 Keys to Becoming a Great Leader. Now, don't just hope you'll be able to manage today's leadership challenges. Run towards them and be ahead of others. Steven Howard can help. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, Malcolm.